On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
Welcome to 2020, everybody.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So Heath is off today, but we brought in somebody to really rock your world into 2020. So
Me.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Matt Stoker is here.
Yes, I'm here to rock your 2020.
Okay, Matt's here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm Jenny Anchondo, and our dear friend Tiffany Hendra is here. Hello.
Whoop, whoop. I
Welcome.
love that intro. Rocking on. Yes.
So we just thought, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
And so much has evolved with your business. For those of you who are not familiar with Tiffany, and I know a lot of you are, she is a TV personality and empowerment coach. That word can be so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for people to learn what you actually do day in, day out in terms of transforming lives. And I know Tiffany personally and professionally, and have seen how she's taken people from point A to point B in such an efficient way. I mean, in people who they're in tears.
Mm-hmm.
They are like, oh my gosh, I needed this so badly. And I thought, well, what if we were able to just bring some of that to our audience today for this episode? So we are super grateful.
I love it. I'm grateful to be here. Honored.
So we're talking about 2020, and people we do resolutions, or we
I don't even like that
and
word. Can we lose it?
Yes.
It's so old school.
Yeah.
Let's trash can it. Yeah.
So what do we
Delete.
use? What do we use as the word for sort of, launching into this new decade?
I love that question because a few years ago I started intermingling the word goal with commitment.
Okay.
Because
I
when
like
you
it.
set a commitment, when you make a commitment, we get married, we set vows.
Mm-hmm.
The word commitment, don't you feel it right now when you say,
do.
I'm going to commit to this within your goal setting? It just makes it more powerful.
It's so different.
Yeah, it's different.
Because not achieving a goal is not like ding, hitting the bell, but not making a commitment is actually breaking something.
Right. Yes.
Ooh.
So I've been using the word commitment. I love intention setting, which is more of comes from a spiritual place.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, let's make commitments for 2020 and the decade.
Wow.
Yeah, decade intentions and decade commitments.
Okay, so I had Tiffany kind of break this down because I know this is what she does day in, day out, and it's a really long process for people. People work with her for weeks and weeks and months, but I thought, okay, what can we kind of cram into this episode? So I know that you do, we're talking about 2020 goal and commitment setting, and goal setting in a 2-stage process. So you said that you found that it triggers our brain and spirit more profoundly when we interchange the term goal for commitment. The first stage is assess.
Yes, you've got to take inventory. So with clients, I meet you where you are. Everyone's at a different level. Some people are rocking out their time management. They're acing their goals, and maybe they need help spiritually and getting connected and more creativity and things like that. So, but with everyone, I do recommend that you go in 2 stages, even on separate days if you have to. I think often we sit down and we're like, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to save $5,000. I want to call my mom more, or whatever it is.
Yes.
In our professional and personal. But until we take inventory of where we are and sit with ourselves, you really can't make smart goals.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And 10 pounds and just the vagueness of I want to lose weight, it never really happens.
I know. Well, and this is something we spoke about offline, and I'm glad that we did, so I could be reminded to bring this up here, because last week when we talked about the vision board process, Matt, and I'm so glad Matt brought this up. He was like, really, Jenny? What does this really do?
Such a wet blanket over here.
It seems a little vague. And so we're talking about 2 totally different processes with vision board and aspirations and dreaming big and not really having deadlines and having it be more fluid. Now with you today, we're talking about the concrete goals, but you're saying you kind of have to do both.
Yes, and what I would invite everyone to do is go back to that childlike state of using your imagination. And Matt, it's not a wet blanket, because so many people, they need what I call in my coaching practice your masculine. We need to balance our feminine and our masculine, and the masculine is the goal setting, the slay, the crush the goal, all those masculine terms, all those things. Where when we're in our femininity, that's the creativity, the reconnection with our spirit, and that also is inviting in your little girl side and saying, okay, you know what? Let me sit with myself and go back to the things that light me up. What no longer lit you up in 2019? Let's leave it in 2019. So you have to sit with yourself. Visualization is a huge thing for me. So I can't wait to listen to the Vision Board podcast, because it's a huge thing for me. And I know that I've gotten to the point I am in my life because of visualization. And then the Bible says, without vision, the people perish. So we have to sit with ourselves, start using our imagination first, and then assess where we are, take inventory, what we want to leave, what we want to expand on, and set the goals.
So I just wanted to ask a question real quick. And this is something that I don't hear a lot of people talk about whenever they talk about goal setting, because I hear a lot of people say, well, like you're saying, make commitments, decide on the things that you want. But I think for a lot of people, these are things that are not coming out of the blue, right? You talk about losing weight. This is something that's probably been sitting with them for a while. And I wonder if is part of the assessment process trying to be honest with yourself about why you haven't done these things already, and then trying to address those things first.
1,000% you hit the nail on the head.
I mean, I think about why, I'll say for myself, why can't I stick to a diet? Well, is there something else going? Am I bored? Am I sad? Is there something else happening in my life that I'm trying to fill that with? And it gets existential, I think, really quick. But I think part of your assessment needs to be why haven't I done this yet? And what do I need to do? What's my roadblock?
That's why it has to be in 2 phases. Yeah. Because this might be a journal session for a week before you can really set your goals. True goals. And a lot of times we set goals from external. We see what everybody else is doing and think that we've got to set these external goals, when you have to go inward and absolutely figure out the root cause of why I'm not sticking to the yoga class and the plant-based diet or lose the 10 pounds or whatever the root cause, and address that first. Take inventory, get to know yourself. People don't get quiet enough with themselves to even set goals. Because they don't even know what they want.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Matt, and I'm glad that the order of the episodes is in the way that it is, so that people can see the reason for that. Because I do think we also sometimes, when we aren't really in touch with ourselves, we see the goals that others are creating for themselves, and we think, well, that sounds great.
I've got to have 100,000 Instagram followers like Sally Sue.
Right. And then it's maybe, and also maybe you don't even want that. Maybe that wouldn't actually even help your business or your life or your profession.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's why are we reaching for these things? And I think it's possible that maybe we haven't gone internal to figure out, what do I actually want?
It's huge. Know thyself. Tony Robbins. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I talk about it a lot. I got to experience his Unleash the Power Within in Dallas.
What was that like?
It's hard to even put into words because it is true immersion therapy. You were 4 days immersed in this cold environment. You don't eat, you're freezing. So he has the method to his madness is to really affect change with this kind of external. We walked on fire the first night, so we overcame that fear right out of the gate the first night. It was truly transformational. I recommend everybody do it.
Really?
But he's the same way. He says, know thyself. You have to really sit and get to know yourself and what you really want. And I've been doing this process over December, really looking at, even with my coaching and what I love and what aspects of the coaching no longer light me up, and what do I want to kind of step into my courage zone and take my coaching to a different level. And also with the collaborations as an influencer and a spokeswoman, even though I love these products, every time it gets to that post that I've got to make or I've got to do an Insta story, it's do I really love doing this? And if it's saying no to a little bit of money so that I can free up some time, free up some mental space and creativity to put into more money-making projects that really light me up.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's also a difference between immediate funds at that moment versus holding off a little
not
bit.
Easy to do because I'm about making the money.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're all right. I mean, everybody's got to like keep the lights on, right? Everybody's got to pay the bills. So that's an interesting concept too, in terms of restraint and saving and building and things like that. So first stage again, because I got her off track with wanting to hear about Tony Robbins. So first stage is really assess.
Yes.
Take inventory of your life. Where have you stayed stagnant? And I know you say we can't get those SMART goals until we take the assessment.
Absolutely.
Right?
Clarity. It's all about clarity.
Yeah.
I started on Sunday. I have about 72 hours before the first, and I am devoting that time to myself, God, reworking my vision board, taking assessment, taking inventory. And for me, the first day of the 3 days is getting really clear, clearing the clutter, really clearing the clutter in my spirit, clearing the clutter in my house. I've done a lot of purging. And sometimes you have to start with your physical environment before you can clear the clutter in your mind and your spirit. So it's all about getting really, really clear. Clarity is power.
Yeah.
If you are not clear, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
You are not going anywhere.
Because you just kind of go, I imagine you go until something gets hard and then you don't really want to do it anymore because you weren't really clear on what you wanted in the first place.
Yes, 1,000%.
And then we don't meet the goal. And then we're mad at ourselves because why didn't I meet the goal?
Well, and I'm all about confidence building. And to me, it's doing the hard thing. Sometimes doing the hard thing is that first assessment, sitting with yourself. Women will keep themselves the busy work. And I'm guilty of it. Let me stay as busy as possible so that I don't have to really sit with myself. But I did that for so long in my 20s and 30s and not being clear and never finding my purpose until I was forced. I was forced to get clear. Yeah. And a rock bottom moment will help you do that. But I invite everyone to seek true clarity. And when you come from a place of clarity, you come from a place of power. Yeah. And it's everything.
What was it that forced you to get clear? What was like a main?
I almost OD'd on a bathroom floor. Yeah, I was abusing drugs. I was numbing myself. And it's, again, if it's busy work, if it's over shopping, with what Matt said, it's like, what am I filling myself with? And I had a client one day say, I was in Lululemon. I realized I don't need another pair of $100 leggings. Am I just lonely? Am I just, and that hit me.
So many of us are,
It was like my client really spoke to me. That was some truth speaking. And I took that into, because you can get rid of one addiction. And if you don't really deal with the root cause, it is going to transmute into something else. And, for me at the time, it was narcotics and drugs and alcohol. And I was quickly becoming addicted to opiates, because you get that little bit of painkiller after minor surgery and mix it with a bottle of wine and woo, And so if I didn't address that truly, then the over shopping, the overeating, the workaholic, it can transmute into all these different things. And that's a whole nother episode.
I know. Well, and I didn't mean to, again, I'm like going off in tangents, but I do think it's important too, because people who come to us with answers are not credible, in my opinion, unless they've had to find them on their own.
Yes.
And you're coming, we're bringing you in and saying, tell us how to do this. Oh, well, Tiffany's had this great life. She's just sitting here with her 3 days of clarity. Must be nice. And I think it's important for people to understand that you've done the hard work.
I was my first client when I really pivoted from the side hustle and people wanting to hire me. And it wasn't really until we moved to Dallas, and I go through the same thing everyone else does. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Who am I to think I can coach other people? I've been a hot mess for a couple decades now. And so when I got up off of that bathroom floor, I was my first client. I had to start getting to know myself, the triggers, healing from major trauma and pain, and face it when I really, really buried it for many, many years and then numbed it. So I've done the work on myself, and I continue to do the work. And I don't coach on anything unless it's motherhood. I haven't given birth to a physical baby. I have a lot of spiritual daughters, I say.
Yeah, you mentor a lot. I mean, you've got a lot
of
women in your life. Yeah.
But for the most part, what women come to me for, I've done it and I've been through it. And yes.
I think also for somebody dealing with any of those addictions you mentioned, be it shopping, work, alcohol, drugs, a few days of being in your own head is absolute torture.
Yes.
That's so hard. So I'm glad that you're at that place where you can sit in your own feelings. My gosh, sometimes 10 minutes is torture.
Yes. And that's what I love it. It actually makes me emotional when I'm able to sit with a woman and hold space with her, and she can just take a deep breath and sigh and actually let out what she's been thinking and feeling, because we bury it for so long, and the busy work and the children and running a home and all of it is, and that's the first place. That is the first place you have to start. That's where true transformation comes. And if you ignore it too long, I don't want people. Rock bottom's different for everyone. Not everyone's going to almost OD and end up.
It doesn't happen to be on the bathroom floor.
It could be a bankruptcy. It could be a narcissistic relationship, getting out of a bad marriage, different things, right? Health issue. I don't want anyone to get to that point. I want to help end the suffering and help women start facing. And I'm like a mirror. I can mirror back to them. And then when they start unleashing it, and that's, you can't change anything unless you acknowledge it first. So the acknowledgement and sitting with yourself and getting quiet, which is the scariest. And it's where it all begins, and it's the most beautiful place.
This is awesome, Tiffany. Okay, we've got round 2, second stage of this commitment and goal setting process. We'll be back in the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
Quick break to tell you about, a company that has saved us in so many different ways. You've heard us talk about myllc.com. So this is the space that we've gone to when we are setting up LLCs. They also set up corporations. And what they do is they make sure that all the legal stuff is checked off, and they also make sure that it's sent to you in the most succinct, efficient way. So that's one thing. The other thing that you get is, I'm somebody that I was really new to business. I did not study business. This is really a new part of my experience. So I was able to, get them on the phone and have them explain what we were doing and what we were walking through. So they have actually made a really generous offer for our listeners. You're going to get $99 off the formation of a new LLC. So if you are starting a big business or a corporation, this works. Also, if you're somebody who's doing kind of a side hustle, you gotta protect that money in that business and put it in something separate and create an LLC for it. So the code is 99MyLLC, or you can go to myllc.com/secondshot and then go through, and that will give you the opportunity to save $99 off the formation of an LLC or a corporation. You guys know we wouldn't have anybody on here if we didn't believe in them 1,000,000,000%, and if we hadn't used them ourselves over and over and over again. So again, myllc.com/secondshot, or use the code 99MyLLC.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
This is a super non-traditional version of Second Shot. Normally we are slinging the headlines and, taking life lessons from that, but we thought it would be good to take a pause for the first episode of 2020 to talk about, we did vision boards last episode, we're doing goal setting this episode, just as kind of like a gift to the community to bring Tiffany in here. So we talked about the first stage.
I think these are good back-to-back episodes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And now
I think they go together.
It will make the mats, it will make the wet blankets in the room.
Good, yeah.
Understand why we're sort of doing the vision first.
Yeah.
And the sort of like this big, bold, nothing nailed down sort of thing, and then nailing it down. So second stage, you say to list the areas of your life and then the outcome you desire, then do the 2 to 3 SMART goals.
Yes.
So explain that.
Yes. Think about it. If you look at yourself from the end result and what you want to attain, if you really visualize yourself 10 pounds thinner, fitting into those skinny jeans that you haven't worn in 5 years, how's that freaking feel? It feels good, doesn't
Mine
it?
are out of style by now, Tiff, but I might just,
bring them back.
bring them back.
Bring them back. You think of the outcome that you want, and then you feel it. It's all about that feeling. You see it. And then now, okay, how are you going to lose that 10 pounds?
What's
the SMART
process?
goals? I know that it's talked about often, but
because it works.
SMART. It's very powerful. So yes, let's chunk it and look at the areas of your life, from personal to career to health, spirituality, maybe philanthropy, fun, your social life, dating if you're dating, or relationship with your marriage. Aaron and I have our own vision board together.
Oh, that's
I know
nice.
That you guys
yes,
do too. Yeah,
we do them together, but we don't do two separate. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did a whole.
Her whole house is boards.
Yes, it is. It is. My mom allowed me to plaster my walls when I was a little girl, and I know that's what triggered it. And I'm an artist, so anyway. SMART goals, SMART. So you look at those areas of your life. You've taken assessment. Okay, let's obviously the big one, which kind of the word resolutions that I can't stand. Everyone's first of all, we think of weight loss, especially right now. You're a little fluffy from mama's cooking, grandma's cooking. So if it's physical and you want to, for me, last year my husband got sick. So again, I don't want people to have to be forced by a physical situation, but we had to really take assessment. We thought we were healthy. But
you guys have made a ton of changes.
Yeah, he got really sick, and it was a scary wake-up call. So we did a lot of changes in our house. He just celebrated 1 year no alcohol.
Amazing.
So
that's Aaron Hendra.
So that's a commitment.
That's
you guys.
a lot,
so
especially in his line of work.
Right.
He's a musician and performer.
Yeah,
so.
and he's in clubs and bars and restaurants at night. So, but it's that important, that outcome of being healthy and strong and having clarity and healing whatever was going on in his body. That commitment and outcome. You see how it interchanges? It's got to be solid.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So it's a specific goal.
It's not just about getting healthy. Right. So going back to the 10 pounds. Okay. Looking at it's specific, right? It's the 10 pounds. Then M, is it measurable?
Yep, you did it or you didn't.
Yeah, well, you have to get on a scale, right? I go by my skinny jeans. I'm not a scale person. I know we've both dealt with eating disorders.
Yeah. So that'll be different for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So A is attainable. So if I want to make more money this year, I'm not going to say going from whatever I make now to $2 million, unless it's like I win the lottery. That's going to be very difficult. So attainable. Don't set a goal so big that it paralyzes you. Right?
Yeah, out of fear, thinking, how am I ever going to do this?
I make $200. If you make $20,000 a year right now, and you're going to jump to $2 million, you're setting yourself up for disaster.
Yeah.
So
we're looking for attainable,
right? And R. Oh my goodness. Realistic. So that goes along with that, right?
Right, like in the realm of possibility, probably thinking, okay, how much time can you commit to this particular goal, and what can happen in 1 year, versus in 10 years or something like that. Okay.
Yes.
And then T,
time bound. It has to be timely. So what I love to do, I work really well in 3-month increments. So you look at the year, you see the bigger goals, and then you chunk it.
Oh.
Yes, chunking is everything.
We've been trying to do it all in in December.
No.
Yeah,
we wait till December.
No. That's something I was going to ask, and looking at this, I felt that you would probably agree, but it's not. It may be nice to set these big aspirational commitments or goals, but is it better for you, let's say mentally, or just to keep you on track, to set smaller ones that you can achieve, get that little dopamine hit or whatever it is you need to keep you on track?
Love a dopamine hit.
But rather than say, by the end of the year, I'm going to, again, we'll go to weight. By the end of the year, I'll lose 50 pounds. What is it better to say, I'm going to lose 5 pounds a month?
Absolutely.
And then, I'll be ahead of the game by October or whatever.
And those are your micro goals.
Yeah.
So you have your big goal, you have your big commitment, you chunk it down. For instance, when this was really solidified for me was when I decided to do my online course. It was a big undertaking. I was feeling like I've got to do this. So I did it in 3 months. I took the first month to write it, to really look at everything. I mapped out how we were going to produce it. The second month, I produced it. We filmed all the videos. We mapped it out. I got the URL, all of that stuff. And then the third month, I had to edit all the videos, put it all and upload it. And so I had the big goal at the end of the 3 months. Remember, it was my birthday.
Oh my gosh, I will.
And that was
and it was
the
like
big
birthing a
goal.
baby.
It was. I was like this birth announcement on my birthday, and then within those 90 days, I had what I needed to do every week. So if you take little steps, what you were saying, Matt, is the baby steps every single day.
Yeah.
Add up, and you will wake up and you're like, I did the dang thing. And so the micro goals are everything. So that's why I like to do this in 2 phases, because it can get very overwhelming. And the perfection paralysis that I was stricken with for many years, a lot of my clients, it's the same thing. Then that failure, and then your confidence dips, and then you're just like, you know what, I'm going to give up.
Right, like this isn't for me, I'm not close.
This isn't for me.
Yeah.
And that's why year after year, that becomes your life. So this was my new normal. Because I was diagnosed with ADD when I was about 38, and I didn't understand why my follow-through was so bad. I could get a lot of things started. It's all about the follow-through. When you finish something, how good does it feel?
Yes.
And you're like, I set the goal, I attained it, I rocked it out. It wasn't easy, but I did the little things every day. I look back each week and say, okay, I celebrate each Friday. I think you need to have little mini celebrations.
Okay, I like that.
And then each month, every 4 weeks, and then if you've set that goal for the 90-day goal, celebrate. And then looking at the year ahead, doesn't it feel so much better? Doesn't it feel, just right now talking about it, doesn't it feel like, you know what, I can really do this and set myself up for success instead of thinking this grandiose thing that's not attainable?
Well, and it also reminds you to not really slack, like get going, like get your act together, because 3 months is going to be here before you know it. January 1st, 2021 sounds so far away, and I want to make an online course, and I might come across the right person and maybe the good editor. Oh no, if you're trying to get it done in 3 months, if you've got January, February, March, oh no, and you're going to assess yourself in March, I think that's different too. And also celebrate. So I know you say, read over your goals daily, take those mini assessments every week, bigger assessments every month. What does that look like, in a practical sense? Do you have them written down on a notebook or on a wall somewhere?
Oh, this is my jam.
Yeah.
This is my jam. I got a new whiteboard a few days ago, and I changed things up in my little mini office, which is my sanctuary, and I do my spiritual morning practice there. And then I do write them in. Because of the ADD, I am easily distracted, different things like that. The creative overload that can paralyze me because I have so many great ideas floating around my head is each month I put my main goals on the whiteboard, so they're in front of my face every day. And one of my favorite books ever is Think and Grow Rich. I reread it every year. And so the definiteness of purpose that Napoleon Hill talks about, and he says to write out that it's like a purpose statement, and that's the big year goal. If it's a monetary amount, I intend to make $250,000 by December 31st, 2020 by coaching women around the world, my online programs, speaking engagements, whatever you're going to give in return for that monetary value, right? So he says to read it every morning and every night, whatever it is. Maybe it's not monetary. So if you're not reading it, if you're not visualizing it, the vision boards actually do activate our subconscious. Even if you don't sit and meditate and you're like, I'm looking at my vision board. If you're passing it and it is in your view every day, it does trigger your subconscious. So I do have a whiteboard because I need them smack dab in front of my face every single day. Okay. Then I do something, I need to figure out where I learned this from. I think it was a mutual friend of ours, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Stephanie Threadgill.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've learned a lot from her too.
I helped her with Rock the Camera, and she taught me about index cards and just a Sharpie. The power of white index cards and a Sharpie. And every single day I write down the main things, the top probably 4 or 5 things that I've got to get done that day. And I carry that index card around with me everywhere I go. And I know a lot of people, millennials and younger people, they love putting notes and all the apps that are out. But there is a scientific
the hand and
thing.
The mind. Yep.
Yes, I'm a notepad person. I'm a list maker, and it is known that list makers are actually, they do achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So I carry around my index card. And
that's a great tip for the day-to-day, because I think that the other stuff makes sense about, okay, so like if we're trying to follow Tiffany's system, we've got the 2 to 3 SMART goals. Mm-hmm. We've got them written up. We also have the vision board reminding us of this greater life and lifestyle that we're going for. But then the day to day. So you do the index cards first thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning.
Okay. So like during whatever,
after my
prayer meditation.
I look at what I need to, literally step by step. Mm-hmm. And how good does it feel when you check those things off?
It's throw out the index card.
Yes, you crumple it up, and it's like, wow. And if I don't achieve all of them, I just transfer it to the next day's index card.
I would be like, the end of the year, I'm carrying around this big garbage bag of index cards. Oh, it's fine. I'm gonna get them done this week. But I think also that reminds you, if there is something that carries over, maybe then you don't add another like 10 things on top of it, right?
And with the putting time on your specific goal is very important, because that drifting, time management is a whole nother episode as well. Yeah. But the timing and saying, okay, this has to be done. Obviously, if it's a bill due or if it's, something like that, then there's a due date on something. But setting yourself due dates, and it's just going to continue to increase your confidence. And I'm telling you, overall, this becomes your new normal, and you are a more high-performing, high-functioning, successful person. Your confidence goes through the roof because you're following through. Mm-hmm. And again, going back to the lack of follow-through and the depression, all of it, the perfection paralysis that I kept myself in. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I would start all these projects, and I just, I felt really down on myself.
Because you were seeing yourself not complete.
Yes.
Right? You were seeing yourself not follow through. And that is that totally degrades the confidence. You think, gosh, if I can't.
Like, I'm a loser.
Right. If you can't prove it to myself, like, who else is going to, be on board with me? It's great.
These are different for everyone. Some of my clients have a system that works best for them. So, this isn't for everyone, but what I've found overall, the majority, is it the Pareto rule, 80-20?
Oh, yes.
So 20% of the things we do give us 80% results or something like that. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it from that aspect too, like we were saying earlier, okay, cutting down on the mindless scroll, cutting down on, and I know we've spoke about this last year, is just checking your emails maybe twice a day.
Yeah.
Because if you really looked at the time, and I've got that time checker on my phone, and it grosses me out if I see how much screen time I've had, which has been awesome. So I want to cut down on the screen time and look at those hours. They add up. Think about it. Mm-hmm. If you're spending an extra 5 hours on the screen on your phone, think of what you could have gotten done. You could literally, my book would be finished. You know what I mean?
Right.
My book the online course would be done. Maybe I would have hit the gym a little bit more. You can get a lot done in 5 hours.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's true. I really love this. I think these are super, super tangible take homes for everybody. We are going to be back in the third segment of Second Shot to wrap it all up and give you all a question of the week. And yes, we're going to answer the question along with you. So we'll be right back.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
You know you have a good partnership when the most recent reviews of your podcast are actually about the sponsor and how well it worked for them. So you guys, Energy Ogre is legit. It's the real deal. If you're living in Texas and not using it, what is going on with you? So the way this works is they shop around your energy bills. So if you have, are with a certain company, they will check every month to make sure you're getting the best deal. We have saved more than $100 a month ever since doing this. And, it's winter now. Sign up now. When it comes summer, you're going to be saving insane money. So the way that you get on board with this is energyogre.com. And then when you go to sign up, you will get a free month when you use the code SECONDSHOT. I don't know. Was this the best financial decision we made this year? Possibly. It has saved us so much money. So again, energyogre.com, and then use the code SECONDSHOT. If they cannot save you money, you won't get charged anything. So it's zero risk. You are going to love us for it. You're going to write us a review, not about the podcast content, but about Energy Ogre. And we're okay with it.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
Welcome back. Welcome back. First podcast of 2020. This has just, I was reflecting back on the year. We did that Second Shot sit down series, which I was thinking
It was
about.
awesome.
Thank
I
you
loved
so
it.
much.
Yes.
Great job.
It was like the journalism I've been wanting to do my whole career.
Those were a lot of fun.
And what happens when, it was like I was in this thing where I was mad because people weren't letting me do in-depth interviews. Well, Jenny, that's not the job you have. You have a job as a breaking news reporter and breaking news anchor, and you think, why won't anyone let me interview Kelly Raspberry for 30 minutes? So I kind of decided.
You got to get her done yourself.
Exactly, and that was a last 3 months of the year goal.
Good for
One
you.
that I had been kind of lingering around. Who's going to hire me to do this? Well, my gosh, you can just do it yourself and book the interviews yourself. So I liked that. I can reflect on that and think, okay, I did finish strong.
Yes.
My first part of my year was flailing, and then I did make a last 3 months goal. So yes.
3 months, 90 days is everything.
Yes.
However you want to say, 12 weeks, 90 days, 3 months, whatever sounds better for you, fits you.
Yes,
it's the best way to work.
I like that. I've got my 20-year high school reunion coming up in May, so maybe I'll make a 3-month goal for that, something
Yes.
like that. I did want to read a post from our Second Shot Facebook group, which has been a really nice community of people that's just been growing. We got one in from Coy, and he says he was talking to his team and evaluating year one of the rebuild that he's attempting with his organization. What worked, what didn't, etc. They did a rebranding, and they were talking about how they present the image of success while still reaching for it. And I wanted to share this. I know, because we're all still, we're all doing that. We're trying to seem successful, but we're still trying to be our best versions.
Growth is everything.
He said, I told them we wanted to be the SUV because it's the most successful reinvention I've ever seen. They took a station wagon and added a more masculine exterior and a cool name, and everyone bought in.
So true.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yes.
want to be an SUV in 2020.
Yes, I love that. I'm taking that on.
Yeah, isn't that
And I just
nice?
got a new Jeep, a Jeep Cherokee, so that's symbolic.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're such a Jeep girl. It's
I am
like
a Jeep
cool
girl.
vibes,
It's like my fourth one.
I definitely ran into this when we were looking at getting a new car recently, and we just kept running across crossovers and things like that. I'm like, these things are station wagons. Like, that's what they are. But
true.
nobody calls it that anymore. But it's like, that's what they are. But they're still, they still look good. But yeah, like what a successful rebranding of a concept.
Yes.
This is an industry-wide concept, but everybody just decided, yes, this is the way we're going to present this stuff, and it works.
It's like when I go to my high school reunion and they say, oh, Jenny thinks she's so SUV. We know you. You're a station wagon.
We knew you when you were a station wagon.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we knew you when you were a station wagon.
I love it.
That's fun. So thank you, Coy, for writing in. And if you guys want to join the group, it's facebook.com/groups/second shots. We have pictures of snickerdoodles. We have people celebrating their successes. We've got vision boards. If you're kind of just listening to those, people have been posting their vision boards in there. So if you want to share, kind of get inspiration, see what other people are doing, encourage each other, that's happening there. Now, Tiffany, I wanted to talk about the word anchor word for 2020. This is not something I've done before. I went to...
how exciting.
Yeah, so this is really cool. I went
Yay.
to Rachel Hollis's conference, the Rise conference, and she spoke about it a little bit, but there were so many things to do that I never got to this. So explain what this is and what it can do for us.
It's another tool. What we're doing is we're presenting tools for people to pull out of their toolbox to stay focused, to meet their goals, right?
Okay.
So several years ago, I don't remember where I learned this word of the year, and it's basically an anchor word, right? We can just be flailing all over the place, wandering, and it sets the tone for a year. So I actually have already put it on so mine is Fempire. I saw this word somewhere and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my 2020 word, because I'm in my 5th year of business and I really feel like this next year is going to, I just see it. A lot of the things I've been working like Oz behind the curtain is going to really manifest in 2020. So Fempire is mine. So that's just it's setting the tone for what I visualize. My business really going to the next level.
Oh, that's
so
great.
it sets the tone. It anchors you in, right? An anchor on a boat keeps it from drifting.
Yes.
So it's just one more fun thing. You can put it on your vision board, tattoo it on your wrist,
tattoo it on your forehead.
You know, I love putting, because every time I pick up my phone, I see it.
That's a good idea to have on. Do we have the same phone case? Wait, did I copy you?
Oh my gosh, we sure do.
You totally have. Okay.
This is
funny.
This is my second one. I had it on my 10.
This is mine's new, so I totally copied you.
It is the best.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
it's cute. If you guys are watching on the Facebook version or the YouTube version,
don't you love it because you never have to think about it again? It is this so brand cute. Is the best. If your phone drops or anything, it's just Sonics. It's awesome.
Sonics. I need to add that to my Amazon store.
Yes.
So Matt, do you want to say yours, or are you still thinking?
No, I think I've got one, and mine's pretty simple.
Okay.
But I think it's something that I can really focus on. Mine is out.
Ooh,
OUT.
Expand on that, please.
Tell more.
Yeah. So I am a homebody by nature. Like, I do not like going out and doing things. I don't. Like, if you were to ask me on any given night, what do I want to do? I'd say nothing, and I mean it truly. I'm not just giving the answer that my wife gives when it's like, I don't know what I want. Like, literally, I could do nothing and be okay with that. But I realized, like, part of this was, again, going out to my family's place for Christmas like we do every year, and we're out in nature and like out in the country, and like I miss being outside. I miss being out of the house, and then for normal life is just trying to get out of how comfortable I am. Like, I have gotten very comfortable in both professionally and also just in my personal life, where it's so much easier for me to say, no, I don't want to go do anything this weekend, or I don't want to go take a walk, or I have just gotten to where, like, being in is where I want to be. And so for me, like, I want to focus on being out.
I love that. I love that so much, because I'm an introverted extrovert. I love people, but I love to be at home. I get overstimulated. I get energized when I'm at home, but I know I've got to give myself plenty of time. So if you know that about yourself, again, know thyself, and do the scary thing, right? Get out of I think the comfort zone gets too much credit. I say get out, that wonky gap that you feel. It's like, oh, it could really stay in.
Yeah.
But what could I achieve? And how would I feel if I actually get out? I have to get out in nature a few times a week. If I don't, I go cray. So it's all of those things. Take baby steps. But I love that. I love that so much for you. I love that so much.
Matt, and you're like, well, you're such a cool guy that you will just talk about that and express that, because we have I mean, I think more than half our audience actually probably men, and I don't know how many of them would actually like say that and admit to that. So rock on, and I think I appreciate you sharing that.
I think part of it is I can recognize how much it drives my wife crazy. That I am very, like, part of it is she works from home. I work in an
my
office.
husband and I are the
when
same.
you get home,
So when I get home,
she
I want
wants
to be
to go
home,
out,
right? And she wants to go do stuff, and I've tried to be more cognizant of that. But I do think that's still, like, my driving force is just to be home and be, like, on the couch or whatever, just doing stuff at home. And so I really do I want to think about that more, even if it's just going in my backyard, and like we've got a bunch of patio furniture that I never sit on because I never go outside and just hang out in the backyard.
That's your intention. That's a beautiful intention.
Yeah.
And that's what we would call an intention instead of the SMART goal.
Okay.
And then that intention right there, and it's something that you could actually set with your wife and be an intention together, which I think would be great. It's beautiful for your relationship. My husband and I are the same. We're both artists. We're both introverts. So we literally could
just never hear from them again.
Exactly. And that's just, I have too much to do, too much to see. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I got to get out too.
Curious to see how that transforms your marriage too, with that effort, sort of on behalf of yourself, but also on behalf of your wife. I think it's great. So my anchor word, my first ever anchor word, and I appreciate you, Tiffany, for bringing this, concept to us, is, and I always cheat on the questions of the week. It's like I'm notorious for always cheating. So it's actually 2 words, but it's look within.
Yes.
So I am very out and talking and I'm aware that people forget to look at what they actually want, because I am totally that person. Like, as a natural people pleaser, which I used to think, oh, that's so weak, but it's like, whatever, that is who I am. So looking within for what I actually desire and want, and sort of analyzing the things that I'm working toward and finding out, is that actually what I want? And, at this point, I think, gosh, I should know. I've done so much work on myself, but I think that so often the answer does lie within.
Absolutely.
It doesn't,
everything.
It really does. And I mean, I've had a lot of therapy and a lot of help and a lot of self-analysis and done a lot of coaching and things like that. But sometimes I'm like, I'm going to cancel all those appointments. And how about I sit at home for an hour?
And saying no to those things is saying yes to yourself.
Yeah.
The best yes for you. And women, we are, this is the word weakness sounds so negative, but it truly is, because we are serving others. You're a mother now. So this is going to even deepen your...
Makes it so much harder, yeah.
Yeah, but you going within is going to empower you to... You're already a great mother, but as Brighton gets older and older, the more you're looking within and empowering yourself is going to be an example for her. It's going to be beautiful.
Thank you, Tiff. I do want her to see that. I want her to know how to do that.
Instead of you going around running yourself ragged, trying to please everyone and live up to this ideal that women think that they've got to live up to, and they're wearing themselves out, and they're not truly aligned with who they are in their soul.
Yes.
And the more aligned I get with who I am and the way I like to do things and how I operate the best, you shine out in the world. And that is, to me, one of the quickest, easiest, most profound ways that we can help heal the world is when we are shining and completely aligned and 1,000% authentic.
So,
that's great.
Jenny, I'm curious, like, from your perspective, how you deal with some of this stuff, because I think we all deal with expectations of others, but I think, of the folks on the show, normally you have been in the public eye for quite a bit, and I see the comments roll in. So when we do things like second shot sit downs or whatever, and people are constantly commenting like, "Oh, we miss you on the news," or "We miss you here," or "We miss you doing this or that," and it feels like so many people have a defined idea of what it is you should be doing with your time and with your life. And I'm just wondering how have you, like, now that you've maybe taken a step back from the public eye a little bit, have you been able to deal with people saying you need to be doing, like, we want you to be doing what you were doing in the past?
Yes, you're so in my head, because
you should be a life coach.
Yeah,
you
I
need
know.
to be a male life coach, because I get this about RHOD every single day.
Oh yeah, why aren't you on Real Housewives? Why aren't you doing reality TV?
And it does.
And
energetically, it can make you feel like, oh well, do you not like what I'm doing now?
And that is, and I just had this conversation with my mom about friends, family members, people like that, where I'm like, I am like pouring my heart and soul into this podcast, for example. And people who still, when I see them, it's been a year since I did, day in, day out news and hosting. Oh, so when are you going to get back into that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did what I thought were some of the most impactful interviews I've ever done. It was on a different platform, and it was my own content creation. But truthfully, looking inside, I have to not care that that's what they see me as. And I also have to remember, I'm the one who created that. That's not on them.
Right.
I'm the one who told them I want to be a news anchor. They're only supporting the dream they knew for me to have. So
exactly.
It's not
on
bad
the
for them
platform that they are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right. So we just need to migrate those people over to your podcast and be grateful for the fact that, oh, I'm missed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Then that means you really appreciated what I did.
Yeah. And that's
all those years.
Interesting, Matt. And I've actually, over the course of this year, had multiple different opportunities to do exactly what I used to be doing, to do exactly what I want to do. I don't think that that's totally eliminated from my realm of possibility, in my life, but none of them were the right fit.
And you're going to be looking within in 2020. So is that in alignment with who you are now? Right? So I was the same.
So it may or may not.
I lived in LA. I did all of that. Now, if I think about doing that and not being able to express myself and help serve women and speak about these things, it would be going, like, sitting in a 9-to-5 job at an office with bad fluorescent lighting, clocking in. Literally, it would. Even though I would be on TV, getting a big paycheck,
being creative,
it would be soul-sucking.
Yes.
Is it in alignment with your soul? And you don't know that unless you look within.
Yes, I think that's totally right. And I think, Matt, I was bitter about that for a while. I was a little bit annoyed, like, why aren't you seeing what I'm doing now? But that's not on them for seeing that. And I'm glad to be missed, and I'm glad that door will always be open, because I developed that skill set. It's not one that will ever go away. I mean, shoot, I got the journalism degree. You know, those things will always be there for me, and I think that they're assisting me in what I'm doing now and in bigger projects that I'm doing. But it's truly realizing that it's not personal. I take everything personally, so I have to have to remind myself it's not personal. They just thought you did a good job on that job, and they, you know, and maybe they don't know how to download the podcast app.
Exactly. And
know,
if they see you, how lit up you are, how proud you were of the content you created with the sit downs, then again, you're shining, you're lit up, you are doing what you feel in your heart is your best contribution. It's all about contribution. What contribution?
Yes.
You know, you can get on and read the teleprompter all day long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So,
but what contribution are you making from your soul?
Well, and I think back to when you and Aaron came on when I was working at Fox, and Tiffany was doing Real Housewives, and Aaron, I think it was before maybe one of the episodes was going to come out where he was performing on the show and everything. And I remember like having these big ideas about how we were going to share both of your messages and how we were going to really impact people and stuff. And it's like, you know, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's not Fox's fault. It's not our fault. It's just that's the platform we were on. I had a message I wanted to get out that was different than the platform I was on. So now I'm able to kind of come back around and say, okay, I know Tiffany has this to add, and so we'll do a 30-minute with her. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, Matt, but it's been a process, and that's why I have to keep looking in and see, am I just doing what people want me to do?
Exactly.
You know? On the other end, you got to make a living, and sometimes the things that people want to hire you for are the things you have to do in order to earn a living. So I think that right now I'm in a balance of that. I've been doing a lot of different projects here and there. I mean, gosh, filling in
your parade.
The parade thing was great.
That was awesome. I caught that.
So fun.
That was so good.
You know, doing the fill-in work at the radio station, which has been a great way to utilize my skills and also, you know, keep work and keep working and doing things like that and be in a great environment where people are nice to me.
Yeah.
God
well,
forbid.
And sometimes it's like a vocation versus your calling and true purpose that God gives you. So yeah, we got to pay the bills, and sometimes until the contribution and purpose that we're here to live out on earth, it may take a while.
Yes.
You know, till you can monetize that.
Yes.
But just keep doing you, girl.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you
know what
so
I mean?
much.
It's a beautiful contribution, and you're so good at it.
Thank you. I've been loving it, and I love. Gosh, Matt, you are so good. So he's going to go through Tiffany's apprenticeship program.
Yes.
and speaking of, I don't want to miss if people are like, okay, this was great, but I want to learn more. Talk about Rock the Camera Online. Talk about, you know, where people can find you if they want to work with you and be coached by you. And
I am on TiffanyHendra.com. I keep it easy. All social channels, it's Tiffany Hendra. And you can learn more about my coaching. I do primarily work with women. And Rock the Camera, because I worked in television since I was like crawling. When I moved to Dallas, everyone asked me, how did you get a YouTube channel started? Yeah. How do you get into TV hosting? So I wanted to fill that need. And that's actually how I started coaching. Was I did the workshops. I did 6-week workshops, and that was for men and women, aspiring TV hosts and YouTubers. And it's grown into this beautiful space for women because it's really about voice and visibility. Because of the online social media platforms, we have to use the power of our messaging, really no matter what business you're in as an entrepreneur. You have to really shine, be authentic, share your message, not just sling your product.
Right.
And so that's what I help women with. And it is about the visibility blocks. Like, why are you scared to get on stage? Why are you scared to get on the podcast? Share your message, be visible. And so Rock the Camera is an online course that gives you the nuts and bolts of what I've learned over 30 years in front of the camera and building a YouTube channel. And that's what I want. I'm more lit up than ever for women to make themselves visible in the world, not be afraid to be seen, not be afraid to be heard, use their voice. Everybody's voice matters, so freaking use it.
Good. Okay, so TiffanyHendra.com. She's on all of the social medias. You guys follow her. Do not put her on your elimination list for 2020. Right. That is an ad because it's always a value add. Tiffany, thank you. Thank you. This was
a joy.
Awesome. You guys know where you can find me. secondshotpodcast.com is our website. Facebook.com/groups/second shots. You can find the snickerdoodle photos and the vision boards in there, Matt.
That's my goal for 2020 is
My mouth is watering
I
now.
know.
Gotta go
Does that
get
sound
one.
good?
You can find me, Matt Stoker 1, that's the numeral 1, on Instagram, as well as in the Facebook Second Shot group. I'll be hanging around there, commenting on stuff, and maybe even posting some stuff. Maybe that'll be part of my New Year's goals, is to actually post something in the
Get
group.
out on social media too.
Exactly.
Not just out of the house, but out.
Yes. It's going to be out everywhere. Matt, overexposed.
Yeah.
He's just everywhere.
Be visible.
Oh, we love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our community, and we will chat with you next week.